Hey everybody, I'm Yvonne with Back to Earth Creations, and in this video I'm going to be showing y'all how to make this wire wrapped gallery wire bracelet with findings from ZDP. Let me make sure. Okay, because I kept saying ZPD and that's not correct. It's ZDP findings, and there are links down in the video description below where you can find this beautiful gallery wire, as well as the other tools and materials that are used in this tutorial. And if you use coupon code EARTH1012, let me look it up. Okay, it's EARTH12. I'm sorry, and it'll get you a 12% discount off of your order at zdpfindings.com. Links down below. I'm so new to having like kind of sponsors, you guys, that it's ridiculous, but thank you to everybody at ZDP for taking this chance on us, and let's go ahead and see how to make this bracelet. If it's blurry, there we go. Kerchow. Oh, that's just worse. Y'all, we were very generously gifted this gallery wire from ZDP Findings. There's links down in the video description to where you can get your own. And if you use coupon code EARTH12, so EARTH12, that will give you a 12% discount on all of the gallery wires on the ZDP website. So I'm not entirely certain which part of this is the item number, but y'all, it'll be linked down below. It's like a really cute little, this is the back side. It's a really cute little textured copper leaf gallery wire. Now this is quite soft, but I have an idea to utilize it in a wire wrapped bracelet. So let's go ahead and get our wires and our pliers assembled, and we'll meet right back here. So I have my regular assortment of pliers: wire snips, flat nose, round nose, mandrel or stepped bail making, tapered flat nose, and bent nose pliers. And I'm going to be using 18 gauge, is the label's rubbing off, but 18 gauge half round in bare copper pot wire, as well as 21 gauge square. And we do have some wire for sale on our website, but I also highly recommend checking out parawire.com. They have a much broader selection. I mean, they're the manufacturers, so they have the full selection of their product line on their website, whereas we only have like a little bit. So let's say we want to make a 8-inch bracelet. So I'm going to go ahead and cut myself off 9 inches, and I'm going to do 4 lengths of this 21 gauge square. Now, if I wanted to make a 7-inch bracelet, I would cut 8 inches. 6-inch bracelet, I would cut 7 inches. So I just want to give myself that extra little bit of wire to be able to get the ends nice and even, to just have a little bit of wiggle room. And so just getting super accurate, precise cuts. No, I'm not sweating it too much. And then I'm going to put this back in the little bag just to keep it mostly tangled from other spools, honestly, because that's such a pain. Okay, and now we're going to be using the 18 gauge half round, but I will cut off what we're going to be using of that later. And then I would like to come through, and y'all, this is like dead soft. It's really nice, but it is very, very supple. So I'm going to go ahead and cut myself just 8 inches of our gallery wire, and I do want to get in there and just boop, snip right at like where there's a natural break in the pattern. I'm going to set that off to the side. Now we could use a nylon jaw pliers or just like a regular hammer or something of the sort to get this flattened out, but I'm going to be grabbing my I'll show you. So these will be linked down in the video description as well, but I have a steel block with a rubber base that helps keep it stable and helps muffle the sound. And then this is a 13-ounce hammer with exchangeable heads. And we're going to come through, and I'm just going to use the nylon side to start with. And I went to experiment with seeing, what does hammering this do? Now, I bet if we used, the chasing head of our hammer, it would just completely destroy all the beautiful texture and stuff. But let's see if it can tolerate the nylon head. So, loud noises. So we have hammered this and it made it just a little stiffer, but that's all right. That's what I was going for. And I just want to try to keep it all like nice and straight. I don't want any distortion from when it was in its spool. There we go. Just checking both sides, making sure everything's nice and even, and let's clear our workspace. Alrighty, so from here, I am going to cut off about a 14-inch section of our 18 gauge half round. And I want there to be 2 wires on each side of our gallery wire, just to help kind of stabilize everything. And I'm going to gauge the thickness of what we're working with, kind of just eyeballing it, but I want to bend our half round wire around so that it's ready to receive our wire. And so we're going to line that up nice and flat there. Line this up like that. And I'm starting in the center, just because that's what I feel like doing. You could leave a center gap open though if you wanted. And I'm actually going to slide our half round wire on in a way so that whenever we bring this little tail end of the wire down and around, the raw end of it, like the trimmed end, is going to be on the inside of the bracelet. Oh, but I did that too tight. So this is tricky for me. This is my first time trying this, you guys. But I thought it would be really pretty to have the gallery wire kind of sandwiched just in between, you know? So from here, what we can do is we can bring this in and just grip this in the jaw of our pliers. And we'll want to make sure that we're not making it too cramped. But we can grip it and then encourage that bend down. Smush, squish. And then I'm going to get that bent this away. And again, it keeps getting a little too snug, so let's see if flattening it works again. Because I want the little ends of our leaves to be sheltered within, yes, like this here. Oh, is that not just gorgeous? Oh, it is easy as just using gallery wire, you guys. Like, it's like wire wrapping with beautiful beads. The beads do all the work. I just need to get them to stay on my body. So I want to be able to like feature this, you know, beautiful gallery wire in our bracelet without diminishing it. You know, I don't want to cover all of it up and stuff, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. So what's happening here is as I pull tight to like do that wrap, I keep doing it just a little too tight. Okay, so by having this sandwiched, that should help us to get a nice flat bend, and then we can pull our wire around. Some folks make this look real easy, y'all, and I'm gonna be honest, it's much more challenging than what I always remember it being. You know, this is of course easiest whenever we have solid wire just all the way across, so this might not be the best first project to do for if you are using brand new to using square and half round wires. But I want to do, I think, 4 or 5 wraps. Let's do 5. That's a nice round number. I don't know. I like the number 5. But I certainly would do at least 3 wraps just to make sure everything's nice and stable. There we go. Very nice. And so now, yeah, you can see this is really coming together, and I like to have the loose end tucked just right there, butted up against our other square wires. So that means I'm going to snip this one just right flush. There we go. And then we can take that and just smush it kind of down and in just a bit, but just enough that it's perfectly seamless against the skin. And now I'm going to give it a few taps with my hammer, loud noises. And that should stiffen it up and really keep it in place. And so now we can go through and do that same thing in a few more spaces. So again, just bending that wire around. Now this is just one of the many different varieties of gallery wire that they offer at ZDP Findings, and we are going to be doing more tutorials with some different styles of theirs that they sent to us and that I've actually purchased from them in the past, and I've really enjoyed. Like, we've got our other gallery wire tutorials for like cabochon settings, and there's all sorts of different stuff that you can do with gallery wire. There we go. So getting that positioned, getting this. Oh, you know what would have been really handy is if we used some of that like low tack, like a painter's tape or something. Oh, I bet that'd be nice for this, just to keep everything sitting where we want it to sit. There we go, getting our wire situated. And don't hesitate to, if something's too tight or not fitting correctly, just unwrap a little. The wire can take it. You'd be surprised. Oh, that's pretty. Oh my gosh, that's pretty. All right, so yeah, trying to keep everything butted nicely. Now I wonder if incorporating some elements of like soldering to this might have helped it to stay a little more like within the frame, but sometimes it's nice to not have to do any soldering. So there's, boop, snipping that little bit. I like to grab with my pliers and kind of squish together and then squish kind of down. I can trim a little bit more off. There we go. I put my thumb over it to keep that loose end from pinging right up into my eyeballs, because it will. Like, I as soon as I get too comfortable, I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. It's not fine. And we're just going to keep wrapping around. So there is our 5th little set of wraps, and again I do like to get around there on the edges. Just getting that smushed kind of down and in. And so this is an example of 2 of the wraps. I'm going to do a 3rd and then a 4th and a 5th near the ends. So I'm going to do that off screen, and then I'll meet you guys back here for the next step. Alrighty y'all, I'm going to do the last wrap with you guys because I was hoping to be able to catch if this happens again. This happens very frequently in my work, and what I'm pointing at is how just the edge kind of pokes out more than what I wanted it to, and oftentimes that happens on my initial wrap. So like if this were my first wrap here, if I'm not holding everything tight enough, And so it's tricky because you want to be able to hold everything just tight enough, but not too tight, otherwise it'll buckle. But if you make it not quite tight enough, then you'll get that weird pokey outy bit. So I like to try getting my tension on our first bend really solid. And then from there, we can grip with our pliers and bend and bring it across. And I'm going to squish. And then just supporting the core wires that we're wrapping around. Then bending and giving it a squish. And I do find that I like the results that I get better in this method, because it helps me to make sure that all of my bends are kind of in the same spot, you know? There we go, and I'm going to bend this one around. I do not feel like it's the end of the world if it doesn't come perfectly all the way across on the back side. I just try to make sure, and so you can actually set it down on your work surface, and I like to just press to make sure that it comes across, or comes down, so there's no pokey bit. And so for here, I'm going to just grip right here and press up, and then we're going to grip and press around. Let's give it a squish. And so this side has gone much smoother than that one did, or the previous one that was off camera. And so this will be our last wrap on this end, and then we get to start finishing the ends. Now, whenever I'm making bracelets for folks, like if I were to do this on our website, what I would do is I would make a couple of bracelets, like let's say 5 or 6 bracelets in this exact style, and I would kind of just get it to this point. I would have one finished piece that I take pictures of and list on my website, but I would let people pick their own bracelet length from, you know, as tiny as they want it up to, like, let's say up to 9 inches. And so then from there, let's say I've made our little base, and this can, depending on if you have more time than what you do, like kind of tangible resources as far as like having a bunch of stuff in stock, I wouldn't recommend this route. But if you have a lot of materials on hand, you feel confident in your ability to utilize scrap, and what you're short on is time, that's when I would do this, where I get the bracelet made to here, and then let's say someone ordered a 7.5 is what they want their total final bracelet to be, or 8 inches, or, you know, like, let's see. Yeah, let's shoot for between 7.5 and 8 inches. Because we can take this and we can scooch this down. Trying to keep everything nice and straight. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to pick a end. So we're going to go with this end down here, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it. Because from here, there we go, I want to fold all of the branches and everything down from here. I want to snip, whoop, and I'm not going to throw that away because I think that is super cute, and I'm sure we'll be able to find something to utilize it in. But now from here, I'm just going to come in, and this is where I love my tapered or stepped flat nose pliers, because I can take this and just squish it over in between our other wires, and I've just folded that down nice and sleek, kind of stealthy. And now I'm going to use my mandrel pliers, and from here I'm going to give ourselves, let's actually measure with a ruler since we have it here. I'm going to give myself a centimeter past where, oh, that's not quite enough. Let's do 15 millimeters, because we can always trim more off. 15 millimeters past where our wire bind off happened. And then I'm going to grab on our smallest mandrel, I'm going to bring this around just like so, doing that little wrapped loop. I like to use my mandrel pliers for this instead of just my round nose pliers because the mandrel pliers are not tapered. So both of those little loops came out the same size. And then we can actually get that there on our, both of them, all situated. You could snip and file that down to be more perfectly clean if you wanted. I'm good. And then from here, that is one end of our wire. And so we will be measuring from there down to, yeah, I think if we were to cut it right here, then by the time we've added the clasp, that will give us a 7.5 inch bracelet. And then we can add a little bit of like rings to it to extend it to make it be to where it could fit larger as well. So I'm going to measure again. Oh, that really is just spot on perfect, isn't it? Okay. So I'm just going to grab the end of our gallery wire and I'm going to kind of bend it back this way. We could even, I wonder how easy it is. I'm just bending, like bend wrenching it to see if we can whoop, break it off just like that. Oh, and that got us a real nice clean closure. That 15 millimeters seems to have been perfect. So I'm going to measure. And I'm going to do the old snippy snip. And a snippy snip. There we go. So from here, I wonder if we can do all four at once. We can. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. There we go. So there's one side, and there's the other side. And just getting it lined up. I'm very, very pleased with that. And now for our clasp, let us use some more of this 21 gauge square wire. We are going to snip off 30 millimeters and 60 millimeters. And based off of these measurements, if you want your loops larger or smaller, then use, you know, maybe 25 millimeters or maybe 40 millimeters if you want it larger. So, but again, it's 30 and 60 millimeters is what I've snipped. And for this one here, I am going to begin by making a loop this way and making a loop this way. Whoop. And then I want to grab right here and we are going to press down. So this is almost making a little bit of like an interesting hook and eye, like how what you would use in sewing. And I'm just going to squeeze that together, and you can see that did open those little loops for us. But that's okay, we can close those back. One of them opened more than the other. I still think, I hope that'll be okay. So I'm just going to make sure, yep, it goes down to that one on this one, goes down to there on here. So we're going to bend that around and then bring it together. But that's made way too small of a little section for us to be able to fit our hook through. So let's see, I actually think we'll need to open it back up. So it might be okay. I'm going to try another at 40 millimeters. Just because that ate up more wire than I anticipated. So this is how we troubleshoot this stuff, y'all. That's not to waste, but I don't know if we'll... You know, I'm just going to keep trying with the 30 millimeters, and if it turned out to not be what we need, then we can always remake it. So this end is sticking out longer than the other. So again, more troubleshooting. So I've just snipped off some of the loop. If you're able to see there, I just snipped it off, so now we can use up a little bit more of that material to bring that loop down. And I'm going to open these up just a smidge, and I'm opening them in a way that I don't typically. I'm opening both of our loops like that, and this is just going to let us get our little clasp loop on there like so. And now we can come in and close that down by just grabbing with our round nose pliers and then closing the loop. So you can see that gives us like a really nice little hinged claspy part. And for this part of the clasp, we are going to fold as close to perfectly in the middle as we can. If it's not like perfect, that's fine. Oop, and then I'm going to squish it together. And now from here, I'd like to snip so both of our ends are the same. And I'm going to bend out just a little so that we can fit the jaw of our mandrel pliers. And then I'm going to make on one side, and then I'm going to make on another side. So now we have this, and I like to take about right here and bend it on over. But then I'm also going to take right here, oops, and I want to bend it up just a little smidgen. So now we have our little hook that away. And I want to make sure everything is nice and flat. So now we've made like a little hook and eye clasp that will just go like boop. So yeah, the 30 and 60 totally worked together. And I always like to have the clasp be oriented where the hook will be towards the skin. And if I see any gaps in my closures or anything like that, now is the perfect time to tidy it up. So now let's see, we can look at this. I'm going to open this one, and I'm going to open that one so that we can hook on our little clasp. Close those rings down, close those rings down. And now from here we could use just about anything. They have proper bracelet mandrels, but I'm just going to use this little jar of resin, and I like to start from the center and then gradually shape our bracelet around. And you can see this has quite a bit of spring back, so we may actually use something a little smaller. Though I don't mind doing it wide here at that point and then coming in here on the sides and curving, because typically wrists are not a perfect circle. I personally like to wear things that are on my wrists that are a little bit more oval than perfectly circular. And so this is a good way I've found to try to get that oval effect. And then we can just wrap it around our wrist. I like to make sure that this little floppy guy, there we go, is ready to receive our clasp. And then we just press on like that. Oh, check it out! Gallery wire bracelet unlocked, and you can shape it to fit your wrist even more to however you like. And that is this bracelet using this beautiful kind of elvish gallery wire with the leaves. And I love the sleek clasp. I love everything about this. So that is how, just one of the many ways that you can utilize this gallery wire, but that is how to make this wire wrapped bracelet. And y'all, I absolutely love it. And it's just, it's so pretty. It feels very high quality with bare copper. You could totally treat this with some Renaissance wax or with some of the other products on the market that, I mean, that's sharp, y'all, and it's very comfy to wear. And again, not sharp like ow, but like and this is how to make this. If you want to learn how to make more designs with gallery wire, be sure to subscribe to the channel. But actually, the best way to find out about that would be to sign up for our free newsletter, because sometimes YouTube can be hit and miss on when it sends the notifications, whereas we are slightly less hit and miss about sending out newsletters. No, we're doing really good lately. I'm finally getting it figured out. But sign up for our free newsletter. That way you don't miss a thing, and you get like coupon codes and all sorts of different stuff. So links to everything are down in the video description. We have our Happy Crafter Club, Patreon, and YouTube channel members to thank for the support of all of our free videos that we've made over the years. We really appreciate you guys. And I will see y'all. Oh, there's probably some stuff popping up onto the screen that you can click on. I don't know which side it's going to be, but one of them's like this channel, and then the other one's our vlog channel if you want to hang out more, I guess, and then other videos too. So we will see y'all in our next video, and until then, happy crafting. Mwah. Bye.